Live from Super Bowl 58 on Radio Row in Las Vegas from Mandalay Bay. I'm Roy Kessel along with Kayla Bradham for Sports Philanthropy Network, and we're very excited to have with us Leigh Steinberg today. Leigh, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nothing could be closer to my heart than sitting at the Sports Philanthropy Network.
Well, we know that you've always been a pioneer really in two areas for your athletes and looking at their brain health and helping them get involved with the community and be involved with philanthropy. I want to take you back to the beginning because you were truly one of the pioneers in the sports agent world and one of the first people. How did those become such passions for you?
Um, I was brought up by a father who had two core values. One was treasure relationships, especially family, and the second was to try to make a meaningful difference, be a brother's keeper, and help heal pain in the world and try to make a positive impact. So uh, it was 1975. Uh, there was no guaranteed right of representation. A team could just slam the phone down and say, "We don't deal with agents." And we started a concept that athletes could retrace their roots and go back to the high school community that helped shape them, to the collegiate community that helped support them, and to the professional community and set up programs that would enhance the quality of life. So, high school scholarship funds, repayments and minority scholarship funds, foundations like where work done just put the 200th single mother and their family in the first home they'll ever own.
I'm so grateful the work that you do, Leigh. I appreciate you. I know this is a really personal question, but if I just gave you $50,000 and I said, Leigh, put this to your favorite charity, where would you put $50,000?
I think right now it would be a program I designed some years ago to push back against racism, skinheads, and destructive groups like that. So we put together a program with the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith where we trained young volunteers, doctors, lawyers, teachers, a year of training, how to help police departments, spot hate groups, how to intervene in crisis situations, and how ultimately to go into school systems and promote ethnic tolerance. So I think that there's so many worthy charities. There are people who are hungry. There are people struggling. Um, there's domestic violence and sex trafficking and bullying and so many different things. But at the end of the day, we have to learn to live together and stop the undercurrent of hatred.
So Leigh, I think one of the things that's always interesting to me when you look at all of the different athletes, right? They come from very different backgrounds. They have their very different experiences in their life. How do you work with them to identify a cause that's going to be both a good fit personally as well as a good fit in terms of how they can give back?
So, Roy, I think the most important thing in being successful working with athletes is listening skills. It's drawing someone out, discovering what their value system is. And I would ask them a question like, if you had one chance to make a difference in the world, if you had one chance to deal with a cause, what would it be? Can we find something particular to you? It could be a disease, it could be it could be a group of underserved kids, whatever it is. Let's find something. So work done put the 200th single mother having grown up with a single mother and a family in the first home they'll ever own. Or Patrick Mahomes does 15 of the Mahomies. It takes at-risk kids, kids with disabilities, and helps them. So it's finding what will be a passion for that athlete in terms of using sports as a philanthropic background.
So, when you look at that background, right, I think one of the things that's interesting when you look at the data is how many of the athlete foundations disappear within 3 years of ending their career because while they're earning, seven, eight figure, right, it's easy to kind of support and subsidize the foundation. What ideas do you have for athletes to really create a lasting program and legacy, so it's something that's sustainable well beyond their career?
So it's involving the community. It's having business figures, political figures, community leaders on a board that extends the reach. And it's creating a structural way in which that foundation is well managed, fits all the requirements about monies raised being actually given to the charity. It's we started to turn over some of our athletes to people like Kevin Kaplan with coaching charities or Mark
Kevin's right.
Pollock, a Giving Back Fund. And what they did is they made sure the athletes were in compliance with all the relevant rules and made sure that those structures are well run and well funded. So that gives you the best chance to have this be something that lasts. So Warren Moon still raises money for the Crescent Moon Foundation, and he started back in 1984, and he still has events that he does that way. Troy Aikman still has events. Steve Young still has events. So even though they're long retired, their charitable foundation continues doing good.
So, Leigh, I guess my question would be for these athletes, a lot of kids that I speak with, they have a lot of interest. How do you steer them in the right direction to figuring out what they want to focus on, whether it's social justice, the youth? What's your advice?
Again, it's listening skills. It's being able to draw out another human being and cut below the surface responses to really understand what's in their heart. And so it's carefully drawing out, it's peeling back the layers of the onion. So you go deeper and deeper into someone's not stock responses or what sounds politically correct to them, but how they really feel. And if you can touch that center of them and get to that emotional level, then you've got a good shot at having them fulfill those goals.
I love it. Leigh, I know that you're swamped. I know you have interviews back to back. I I just want to say thank you for the work that you've done throughout the years. I'm not sure if you hear it often enough. You're making the world a better place. I just want to say thank you for creating hope and possibility through sports, Roy.
And Leigh, we want to thank you for partnering with us this year to create the Sports Philanthropy Pavilion within your party. We've had a ton of interest in that, and we know that we expect that to grow just like the way the Brain Health Summit has really blossomed over the last 10 years, really been an incredible explosion of interest in that space. And we want to do the same thing in the philanthropy space and already looking for more groups for New Orleans.
And Roy, I'd like to thank you and Kayla for the great work that you do in terms of what's nearest and dearest to my heart, which is making a difference in the world through philanthropy, trying to push social change, making a positive difference in the world. We're all part of the same cause.
Well, Kayla and I share that passion, and we both of us thank you for your support, everything. You've been an ally right from the beginning. This is our fifth anniversary for Sports Philanthropy Network, so we're excited to continue to grow now with chapters in over 22 markets in the U.S., and we hope to hit 40 by the end of this year.
Hopefully, you'll meet a lot of new volunteers at the party that will help energize your organization.
That's the goal.
So, Leigh, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. On behalf of Kayla Bradham, I'm Roy Kessel with Sports Philanthropy Network, thanking Leigh Steinberg for, as always, generously sharing his time with us to talk about philanthropy and sports and his upcoming Super Bowl party on Saturday. So we hope our viewers and listeners will be there, and we want to remind everybody to live generously. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.